Gaming Classic. We are over here at the Marco, Stern, and Kingpin Games booth on the Marco TV stage. My name is Matt Benzik. I am your moderator for this homebrew panel. The Midwest Gaming Classic is probably one of the most homebrew-friendly shows we have. I think as far as the big shows go, MGC's always had a big homebrew presence. I know Ed's been here a while, and we'll introduce everybody. I'm getting ahead of myself. But we have a lot of homebrews out here today right by the Marco booth. We have 4 fantastic designers on stage, but that is just a cross-section of the talent we have out here. A couple of us couldn't make it up on stage today. Several of us didn't bring out games. We have some fantastic homebrewers that became industry designers in the crowd today. And yeah, it's going to be a good talk. We're going to spotlight each one of the 4 of these guys, talk about their process, talk about their games, and Amoto's going to be running around in the homebrew area to spotlight your game. So if there's something that you guys want to talk about specifically about your game, she'll be able to identify it. So like I said, my name's Matt Benzik. I am a pinballer, homebrew designer, but I haven't worked on my game in like 2 years because that's like a rite of passage in the homebrew world, I believe. It will be here later. To my right, I've got Ed Owens, designer of Ghost in the Shell. So Ed, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and tell me about your game?
All right, thank you, Matt. Ghost in the Shell, Ed Owens. I've been a Wisconsin resident, been coming to Midwest Gaming Classic since 2008. And I just agree with what you're saying. I mean, it's been a very homebrew show for me. It's where I first was introduced into homebrew games and got to play them for the first time. And it's where my game actually was here in 2017 as an Aerosmith cabinet that had warranty issues, and I bought it off a guy. And in 2018, the first year we were in this building, I brought Ghost in the Shell here, and it's been coming every year since. But as you say, we all have a cool down period in our game, so it's been kind of stalled the last 2 years. But I did powder coat my armor, so that's something. It looks prettier. Still plays about the same, and yeah, the game has just been all home built, and it's been a team of me and anybody else who's been willing to help a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's something that. Like when we talk about so you brought your game out here. Now, before I get too ahead of myself, Ghost in the Shell is your first fully custom game, correct?
Correct.
And before you got into like full-on custom homebrew, you also did some retheming as well, right?
I did a retheme of Big Game. I bought the game with no legs, no circuit boards, no back glass. And at the time I bought it, I think it was late 2000s, and none of that stuff was available, at least back glass art and stuff. And I'm like, I work with the Greyhound Rescue, so we decided to retheme it. Me, my wife, and some friends I had, 2 Greyhounds to race home for GPA Wisconsin. And we've taken it to 2 different shows, had it to different tournaments, used it to raise money for the Greyhound Pets of America.
Very cool, very cool. So, what with Ghost in the Shell, what inspired you to create that pinball machine? That homebrew. Was there, when you watched that content, was there something that stood out that was like, I need this to be pinball, or like kind of like a marquee shot or marquee mech that you had in your mind?
I'm never a huge fan into anything except for maybe pinball and cars. I don't want to be a huge fan service to anything and know everything about everything, but I do love certain things. And in the anime world, I've always loved Cowboy Bebop and Ghost in the Shell. And I actually have sketches from a Cowboy Bebop game with 3 ramps and some underplay color modes. I had it all figured out, and then I also was working on Ghost in the Shell. And I'm like, okay, well, at the time I was getting started, there was a gentleman making a Batman 66 homebrew. And then Stern came out with a Batman 66, and that crushed him. And he's just like, we're done, I'm done, I'm just gonna not even do this anymore. And I thought, let's do a theme that has a fan service, but I don't think will get made. And I know Cowboy Bebop, I think that could very well be successful. Whereas Ghost in the Shell, there's a lot of content to draw from. And I love the fast-paced action, which translates to pinball, but I also love the deep thinking, which translates to enjoying the show. So I focus on the fast-paced action side of things on the pinball, and kind of took away from the Laughing Man series of Standalone Complex.
Okay, cool. And you talk about your iterative process. So, again, going back on things, you brought your game here out in 2018, the first year you brought it here. Full disclosure, that was the first homebrew I had ever played. I remember it was, whichever hall you had it on an end cap, and I saw this this cab that had like plywood in the plywood play field, and it just looked different. And I played it, and it was a very different experience as far as how Ed designed something versus what a lot of the designers that we've known to grow and we've grown up with as far as the major manufacturers. And so can you talk about the iterative process of that first play field that was there, kind of finding the parts and inspiration, and then bringing it back to the game that it is now with your, on the far left side, you've got that the LCD screen that's playing content and stuff like that.
So I distinctly remember that show, and there's this guy who kept coming up to me and saying, I want to know more. I want to know more. And we took the glass off and we dig in, and I kept showing him more. And, I was that guy a few shows prior, and somebody showed me more, and look where we are now. So that's a pretty cool thing to be able to pass that on. And now we're helping each other out. As far as my design process, I don't do digital with any of that. I started all physical because I can cut and weld scrap sheet metal in my garage and make a ramp, make a wireform pretty quickly, quicker than I can draw it. And I made my first ramp on the left side all out of sheet metal off my fridge. About a few years prior, I had built a new home, so I had a new front metal for my fridge. That's where all my ramps and all my guides came from. And as far as the wood, was actually leftover 7/16 sheeting that was, this piece is straight enough and doesn't have that many knots. Cut it down and rock and roll. And actually, some of that scrap from that piece is in other people's homebrew games. But it was just, I started physically by having the flippers work, and then I ended up taking a dowel and I would roll it on the play field and be like, okay, this is the flipper, or this is the angle I want. What does the shot look like up here? And then start talking to people. Every single game I owned had no glass on it at that time. So I'm measuring, Taxi, the shots are easy. They're all 2.5 inches. Oh, this shot's kind of hard on this other game. That's 1.5 inches. That's 1.25 inches. And like the ramps, once they come up, they get narrow. They all go down to 1.25 inches. So just different things like that. I started looking at and talking to people and physically building it. And I've had 3 or 4 renditions of everything in that game on that white wood. That game went to that original construction board went to like 3 shows, like 1,000+ plays. Pretty beat up, but it worked.
Yeah, that playfield was a workhorse. There is definitely some that kind of looks like an ill-placed knot, but it played well and it was fun, and I think it inspired a lot of guys to get into homebrew, and you being as approachable and community centric, and to go off topic of not talking about Ed, I think that's one thing that anyone that's watching on stream that's ever thought about designing a pinball machine, come out to shows and go to the homebrew sections, come out to the Marco booth and, say, hey, I'm thinking about homebrew, and they're going to connect you with, someone like us to, talk about it, because the homebrew community is very much a community.
Talk to us, say, hey, how do you do this? Let's take the glass off. Let's take the playfield up. Let's talk about the construction techniques, the wood used, the how to make the play field, who knows who to make plastic and vinyl.
Yep.
Talk to us. That's what we want to grow. It's not a competition here. It's competition just to have fun.
And so yeah, very much community. I'm bad at transitions, but it's awesome what you've helped out, and seeing the iterative process on your game, and I'm very excited to see the next iterations. I think the next person I'm going to call on is the person that did his homebrew in absolute hard mode. So in the homebrew world, there's you have to control your machine. There's a couple different ways you can control your machine. There's a couple different manufacturers of board sets, software, firmwares, frameworks. Guys like Ed and I, we use the P3 multimorphic system. Guys like Tanner use the fast hardware with MPF. And then there's guys like Kelly that designed his own board set, designed his own framework. And the first time I saw it at MGC, I thought it was just an unproduced game that was a prototype from like Williams or something. That the level of fit and finish of that game, Undertale, was absolutely fantastic. So Kelly, why don't you introduce yourself to the stream and the wonderful audience we have, and tell us a little bit about Undertale and your second project, Volcano Blast.
Hi, so I'm Kelly. So so the concept behind the Undertale machine actually came about in, I want to say 2017. We went to this very show. It was at the Brookfield rather than here, but there were a number of custom built games there. And myself and Maddie down there, who is also my artist, we were kind of looking at them and thinking, wouldn't it be cool to build a game? And what kind of game could we build? Well, our friends all loved Undertale, and that just seemed like the perfect choice. And so for that one, I used an old version of Visual Pinball to do the design work. And then I looked into what options there were for control systems and all that kind of thing. And I remember looking at, what it cost to acquire those. It was something like $700 or $800 for a board set. And I was thinking, well, I could do that, or I could be insane and unhinged and create my own system. And I think you know what I did.
Yep.
And so I ended up creating, it certainly wasn't perfect, but I created something vaguely System 11-ish to control that game. And it wasn't without its issues, but it seemed like it worked pretty darn well. And since then, I learned a whole bunch of different things about, electronics and circuit board design and stuff like that. And so now moving into the project that I got now, Volcano Blast, I would say it's even more of a custom board set, because I had custom PCBs printed and all kinds of stuff. So
very cool. So with my connection to Ed, I've gotten to see his game kind of transition through the years, and working with him on that. Undertale, I only saw it that year, and it felt like a complete done game. Like, what was your build out process? Like, you said use VPX. Like, once you got it into hardware, and those that don't know, VPX is a pinball modeling software. It's a game you can build your own pinball machines. Some guys that now work at some heavy hitter pinball manufacturers designed a game using that, and got himself a job through that. But how much did you have to change from going from VPX to the real life, and what was that process kind of like?
So it actually, if we're talking about Undertale, it went through quite a few different design changes, and to be perfectly honest, it could have gone through one more, because for that particular game, I went pretty much straight to a printed playfield. I basically skipped the Whitewood stage, which admittedly made me miss a few things that I ended up having to make some significant changes involving a pair of aviation snips in order to fix. But yeah, it pretty much went from Visual Pinball 9 actually straight to the
print and
straight
play
to the
field.
print. Yep.
That's awesome. And so Volcano Blast, was that built the same way? Started in VPX, and what whitewood are you at now? That because you learned on Undertale not to skip that whitewood phase.
Yeah.
You know, the real world and the digital world may differ a little bit. You know, what version of the whitewood are you on now?
Yeah, for sure. I learned a few things from that. I would say it's technically the second whitewood at this point. The first one was really not much. It was a pair of flippers that were plugged into a power supply with high voltage switches. There wasn't really a lot going on there, but I had some cardboard walls and stuff. I just wanted to make sure that the shots worked approximately the way I wanted and stuff like that. And then we moved on to what I got now, which is perhaps more of a green wood than a white wood. But at this point, we're at a prototype stage where I'm just seeing what works and what doesn't. For the most part, it works. There's a couple of minor things that I'm going to want to improve, a couple of ball traps that I've discovered at this show, and some other stuff. But for the most part, I've definitely learned some lessons from Undertale, how to do things right.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, ball traps, those aren't too bad. I remember one year Elwin brought Archer out to Expo, and he had to go do something, and he literally left a bag of balls in the coin door because there was a hole in the back of the playfield. He's like, every once in a while a ball's gonna launch back there, just put another one in, like we'll figure it out later. And it's just like, you know, that stuff happens. You find that out in the prototyping phase, and you know, we all do it. So so you're at Greenwood. When do you think, when is the project going to be done? You know, when do you think you're going to have artwork? Like, you know, what's your goals there?
I am fairly confident it'll be looking more finished next year.
Awesome.
Honestly, this year is not very much different from how it looked last year, other than it has a little bit more gameplay. The biggest reason for the delay is that I literally spent the last year creating the sound system for this game.
Awesome.
Because not only did I make a custom board set, I created a custom audio synthesis engine specifically inspired by System 11. So
you you're software emulating the System 11 soundboard. Wow. Dude, like there's libraries for this. Like,
I was going to say, they do have these things now called MP3s.
Yeah.
I realize that.
So when you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, do you start by baking the bread, or do
no. What he starts by doing is he starts by growing the nut.
Exactly.
And it's a very detailed process, especially in Upper Peninsula.
Yeah, the Upper Peninsula. You have 3 months of sun.
3 months of sun, so they take a very long time to grow. Then after they've matured, he takes them and grinds them down into a nice paste.
But yeah, so and again, part of why, you know, we've collected these guys up here is each of us have had such a different way of approaching homebrew. You know, Ed going very much hands-on with hardware. My personal homebrew was very much CAD, you know, started in CAD and, you know, 3D modeling software. You know, Kelly doing, you know, VPX or, you know, Visual Pinball. And then there's Tanner. Tanner is a fantastic guy from Battle Creek, Michigan, who I was actually his robotics team coach in high school. We lost contact through college and then met at Expo when he had all of his I call them art house pinball machines, but I don't know if that's the correct description. So Tanner, why don't you give the audience your entry point into pinball with your collegiate your time at U of M, and then now what you're doing with your designs.
Yeah, sure. So like Matt said, my name's Tanner. And to give the abbreviated version of how I got into pinball and making my own games was when I was an undergrad, like 10 years ago now, which is one of those sentences you say out loud and get the ick.
Yeah.
But anyway, a long time ago when I was a sophomore, I was in art school. I come from an art background. And I decided for my sophomore project I was going to build a pinball machine because, you know, I had all the skills to do so, obviously. And spoiler alert, I did not have all the skills to be able to build a machine then. But it kind of planted the idea in my brain for later on where, like 5 years ago now, I went to a graduate program for art. And going into that program, I wanted to have kind of a larger project rather than just say, you know, making a bunch of paintings and having a show, which is a very valid way of doing grad school. But I was like, hey, I'm going to build an entire arcade because, you know, that's also sensible. And so throughout that project, I was in a weird kind of state of isolation from the rest of the pinball world, just because beforehand, I wasn't a pinball guy. I kind of got into pinball through making machines rather than making a machine through being into pinball. But at some point in that process, I bought a Fast Starter bundle, and Aaron invited me to the Fast Slack, and I got into that community, and so on and so forth until we're here now. But to answer your original question, those original games I had there, I would consider more art games than kind of regular pinball. A lot of those were designed in such a way that you could play them like once or twice and get the whole experience. Whereas the games I'm working on now, which are Trashland and House of Flesh and Blood is the current one I'm working on, those are more designed to be like commercial games where they're, you know, very replayable and have fairly deep rule sets to them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you know, anyone that has come to a show and, you know, you see Trashland. Trashland's cab looks about the closest thing that I've seen to like Python's Pinball Circus. You know, it's just a, you know, this thing, you can't miss it. For one, it is bright green and yellow. Everything, it is a multi-layer. If you get a chance to play it, it is a fantastic game. Terrible to move, but fantastic. But I guess, you know, and again, rolling it back to everyone's different experiences, you being not a pinball guy, when you are, you know, thinking about a design, are you thinking about something like, you know, I want this cool shot, or how can I make, or do you do something of like, you know, how can I make the ball do what people aren't expecting the ball to do, or like, what's your kind of design ideas in, you know, like Trashland has a lot of different little things. Are those all things that you just kind of went, I want to do these different things, or did you have a total like 10,000 foot view on that?
Yeah, so I would say like the very core thing I'm interested in making my own games is kind of pushing at the boundaries of what pinball is. I mean, there's a whole lineage of weirdo games that look a little bit different than what you would expect. But ultimately, most games are either, you know, the standard 20 1/4 inches by like 42 inches or whatever, or they're wide bodies. There's not a lot of games that exist outside of that very particular spatial requirements. And for good reasons. There's a lot of logistical reasons that makes sense. But at least for making one-off games for myself, I'm interested in kind of exploring what can be done that hasn't been done before within pinball. So that's both kind of the form factor of the games I make, but then also trying things, like you said, that either I see on like old games that hasn't been done since, or kind of, you know, the weird things that I want to exist in pinball that don't necessarily exist currently. So like the game I brought this time was pretty much kind of fully fleshed out from the start. But with a game like Trashland, that's a game I've redesigned like 5 times at this point. It's been one that kind of, you know, you got the Hegelian dialectical of eventually getting towards it being an actual functioning machine that makes sense. But it's taken a while to get there, so.
Do you count each little mini playfield as a revision, or is like your main playfield at revision 5 and, you know, the vertical playfield at like 3, so really you're at like revision 15 or 30, or do you just not want to count it, really?
Well, I use decimal points. Like, I've done 2 main playfields now and a bunch of little playfields. So it's
Did
kinda,
you add them or multiply them?
Yeah.
And does that count the revisions you do during the show in your hotel room?
Well,
Yeah, like to put this in perspective, Expo last year, I got a photo of you, or no, I think it was MGC last year. He had a 3D printer set up behind his machine because he was like prototyping different like ball guides, because he wanted to see how fast could he get the ball to roll through something, or could he get it to make it be a little bit more chaotic and less predictable. And and also if something broke, he just started printing it, and like 3 hours later he had the part he needed, and took out the duct taped one and fixed it. So
well, and part of that was I always set really insane goals for myself for shows, so that last year at MGC I had one version of Trashland for Expo, and then I was like, oh, MGC, I'll do a new playfield, and that'll be fun. And it was less fun, perhaps, than I thought to get it done, but we got there. That was why I brought the printer, was not everything was quite done.
I have similar stories of overambitious goals. The first year I brought out Motor City, the playfield was so my process was I designed it in CAD, printed it out on full-size paper, glued it to the playfield, and then so that I had basically assemblies for where everything was. Problem is, paper is rough and it's slow, and so I decided that I needed to make a new playfield 14 days before the show. Now, a smart person would do that once and go, never again. 2 years later, I went, I really need inserts. So I milled a new playfield 18 days before show, had to, epoxy in the inserts, sand it all down, clear coat it, and then completely redo the bottom side of the playfield. All of the wiring was brand new. I think I did 35 hours of streams in like a 4-day period or something. But, that procrastination and like really lofty goals are common in the homebrew community, and that's also why it is so important that we have the community of us makers, people watching us, because it really does motivate us, and when we hit a problem, we're able to support. So if you're interested in homebrew, again, come up to us, talk to us, hit us on streams. The Marco TV people, if you reach out to them, they'll know who to send you to. And, that's a, again, another awesome community, serving an awesome community. I mean, there's guys at the manufacturers that have helped us out when we've been in a bind, and, it's just very cool.
I got a question for Tanner. So I was talking to you this earlier, and my take on your games is it looks like it walked right out of a Tim Burton film. But we were talking earlier about it, and about the art, and the whole thing is art. But the graphical flat art, and that's all done by you as well.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I come from an art background, and it's always been like drawing's been probably the thing I've always done the most of, but I've always been very into game design and physical computing in different ways. That was kind of how the pinball started. But yeah, so I do all the art for my games as well as actually designing and putting them together.
That's awesome. I mean, I know it makes perfect sense, but sometimes it doesn't click, because all the rest of us here are constantly saying, I need help from an artist. I need help. Not like, well, yeah, we're creating artist physical game, but no, yeah, I mean, you're the full package as far as that goes.
Well, and I do think there's an element to anyone who designs and makes pinball machines is at their core kind of a control freak.
Yeah.
And so just doing the art myself allows me to, further have that grip on the thing being the way I want it to be. So
that's awesome.
Sweet. So there's one left at this table. We didn't give him a mic because he's loud enough without it.
Yes,
but,
exactly. I'm someone you ask me the time and I'll tell you how to make a watch.
Yeah.
Jack is looking right now and going, my God, they gave Jobber a microphone. My goodness.
So, Chris, why don't you, again, circling back to everyone's different experiences, Chris, your part in the homebrew scene has been more on homebrewing VPX and
Yes.
arcade.
Well, calling me a
cabinets, correct?
designer is a very liberal interpretation of the word.
I was giving you a lot of credit.
Yeah, but what I've done with my stuff is, so let me give you my background. My background is more in the traditional video game and television space. So I worked 11 years in Los Angeles. I worked on a bunch of network TV shows, from America's Next Top Model to Deal or No Deal, Hell's Kitchen. And the connection to the video game industry is I worked on G4 TV's X-Play. So I dealt with a lot of individuals that were in this space and seeing games in a very early space. I can tell you stories of how Nintendo, when Super Smash Bros. Melee came out on the Wii, they brought in and I'm not even kidding, they brought a security guard with a Wii in a metal contraption, and it was locked to his arm, and he had to hand the key over to the person and then make sure that we locked it down onto the review station that we were going to be watching, playing the game and then reviewing it from.
Nice.
And
So-
now you can get that on, your favorite pirating site. So fast forward to, I left G4. I was burnt out with television, and I was in graduate school. And I wasn't really, I loved Los Angeles, but I didn't want to stay there. And so I had come back to Minneapolis, and in Minneapolis there is a billiards store called Peter's Billiards. And, well, let me rewind a little bit earlier. So during the time I was at G4, in Glendale, California, where I lived, there was an arcade warehouse called the Vintage Arcade Superstore that I would pass all the time on San Fernando Boulevard. And one day I stopped by and I asked Gene, I said, how much is a Star Trek The Next Generation? Because as a kid, that was my favorite pinball machine. It was at the local record store. I put a lot of time into it. And Gene told me at the time, and this is like 2010 probably, and he goes, it's about $3,000. And being a guy who was living paycheck to paycheck, I was not like, well, goddamn, I gotta go to get that game for ourselves. So, long story short, fast forward a couple of years, I'm at this billiards store in Minneapolis called Peter's Billiards, and I see a virtual pinball machine. And I'm flipping through it, and I'm going like, oh, this is pretty damn cool. Like this, it's got Star Trek The Next Generation, and it's got all of these other games I've never heard of, and oh, hey, look, there's Data East Star Wars, and those type of things. So I moved back to Minneapolis. I decide that I'm going to stay there, and I'm like, well, it'd be kind of fun to have an arcade in the house. And so I start researching games and things, and the process to getting these games to being what I now call the dumpster games was just dumb luck, to be totally honest with you. So I decided to build a virtual pen, and I go on Craigslist and I find an HD TV, and I go buy it. And then I was here at the Midwest Gaming Classic, I think 2017, by a coin door. And then they just happened to be building a Portello's restaurant in the town next to mine. And I go there at the end of the process, and they've got a bunch of scaffolding wood, and I go to the foreman and I say, hey, could I have a couple sheets of plywood? Take it home, put it together. For my 40th birthday, I wanted to have friends over to play arcade games, and it was flipping. And I was very happy with it. And then had to make adjustments and all that kind of stuff. So that was version 1.0.
So basically, the idea of your process is how to lower the entry point, and not only
that's one of my main reasons for bringing these things to these shows, because a virtual pinball game is one of the more common homebrew projects. I mean, people do not often, especially in the pinball community, don't understand that Zen Studios is the second largest pinball company in the world as far as revenue, as far as volume. They just released 3 tables this last week. Stern is the juggernaut because they do more in revenue if you take the overall, and this is the MBA in me talking. if you take the revenue, you take the models, you put that into place, they're ahead of Jersey Jack, they're ahead of the other companies. So it's a very common project, and there's a lot of people online, Terry Reed, Way of the Wrench, all those type of, there's several guys, Major Franchi, who will do tutorial videos on how to do that. So back to my thing. So I built the cabinet, MGC 2019 comes up, and I decide, hey, I'm going to bring it and see what people think of it. And I knew it was underpowered when I brought it, and I knew I brought it with a monitor that was not the creme de la creme, but I just wanted to kind of test it out to see what I needed to do. And I brought it here, and I got a lot of feedback. Good, bad, indifferent. And one of the feedbacks was, and it was from Eugene Jarvis, actually, this is really laggy, which is a term that I had no idea what the hell that was. So brought it home, decide that I'm going to
beef up the PC.
Nice. Still using recycled. And here's the thing too. When I brought the game to the 2019 Pinball X, or not Pinball Expo.
Oh,
the 2019.
Hello.
Yep, we're good.
Hello.
So basically,
so when I brought it here, it didn't have a name.
Yeah.
So this man right here comes to me and he says, and we just met, and I'd seen his machine the year before. I think I played it. He says to me, hey, Chris, why don't you call it the dumpster dive?
Yeah.
And
he tells me the story about all the parts and going more into depth as you did today with all of them. Like, you kind of dumpster dived all the parts, didn't you?
Yeah. And I'm walking around going like, okay, and you know how it is when you get a circle of 6-year-olds together?
Yeah.
And you tell the first six, no, Jack has no experience with that.
We're all
you tell the
6-year-olds.
first 6-year-old that it's Jaws, and then as they get around the crowd, it becomes Purple Monkey Dishwasher.
I thought you went from dumpster dive to dumpster fire because you were afraid it was going to light on fire.
No.
I thought the
So I'm
lights
walking
burned
around.
up on
I'm
it.
walking around the floor, and I come back and I go, "Hey Ed, thanks for that name. I think the dumpster fire is going to work really well."
Yeah.
And so
That's awesome.
he comes to me, and I go, "Okay." So fast forward to now, it is a series of games. I have currently 5 what I call dumpster games with a Z, not an S, that have been made. The other thing I had just kind of whipped together to have an extra game at my birthday party was a
Golden
really
Tee, right?
junk Golden Tee Golf.
Yep.
And so I had bought a Golden Tee Golf plug and play that was made by Jack's Pacific. And I got it home and I started playing with it, and I fell in love with it because for a 40 megabyte file, it had a lot of playable Golden Tee on it.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, it'd be fun. Let's get an actual Golden Tee cabinet.
Yep.
So I did that. Then my mother's best friend, my mother is 81 years old. She'd be embarrassed for me saying that. But her best friend one of her best friends was moving into a nursing home. And they had a CRT television in the basement that had a component put. So I did that. Then I got the cabinet.
Nice.
And then I decided to wire a real Golden Tee ball onto this Jack's Pacific plug and play. Started bringing it to shows. It's not here today because the monitor had an issue, which I'll have to fix it. And then just going from there, then the other game was a game called Killer Comet. This was a game that was supposed to be released by Game Plan Inc. in, I believe, 1980, and it never was released. And when I got it, I didn't know what it was. So I took it home and I did some research, and I was like, this is a really obscure game, and it would be fun to restore it. And this is before, I'd gotten that before I got the dumpster fire even started.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, let's bring Killer Comet to shows so people can see the work of the people that do that. I mean, I know this for a fact. When you have a situation like with the Batgirl project, okay, for those of you who don't know, Batgirl was supposed to be released on HBO Max this year. It has Michael Keaton in it. And when new ownership came in, they did the unheard of thing, which was they not only decided to not release the movie, they decided to erase that the movie ever existed. And it was 90% done. They also did this.
That's nuts.
So you've got all of these people, and they're doing so much work and so much hard stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring Killer Comet to shows. And I even brought, I remember I ran into Roger Stone, and I go, Roger, I've got to ask you about this game, if you know anything about this game. So I walk him over to it, and Roger goes, well, this is video games. You know, I worked in the pinball division. And I said, yeah, well, I would figure that they would talk. And you knew that King of Balloons was coming out, right? Yeah. Well, did you know anything about this game? And he says, I don't know. I think it was probably just sent out to a couple of test locations. And the reason it ended up in Minneapolis was because Minneapolis was a test location where Williams and Bally and whoever would send a lot of games up to a gentleman named Todd Erickson, and he would have them at the Minnesota State Fair in a beautiful arcade. So anyways,
actually,
are we running out of time?
Close on time. Do we have anything from the chat that we need to respond to? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna transition real quick. Can you guys see that screen? So what we're going to do is we're going to actually bring Amoto's phone onto a Zoom, and so that the stream and everyone here can actually see some of the features of your guys' games that you want to point out. So
cool.
You know, we've got a Moto Cam. Let's hear it for a Moto Cam. There we go. All right, so
and now Amoto is going to.
So Amoto, why don't we start with Tanner's in Flesh and Blood, correct? In Flesh and Blood, or with House of Flesh and Blood. So Tanner, I think the first thing that I would want to point out is the cool little trail out the side of the machine. And is that Dave Fix playing it?
Oh, it is Dave Fix playing it.
Oh, it totally is.
Hi, you're on the live stream.
I was going to feel really, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Fix of American Pinball. So we got David playing House of Flesh and Blood right now. Tanner, what made you want to put something that comes out the side of the machine?
It's been one of those things that I've had the idea for, you know, kicking around. I have a billion stupid ideas that are going to make it into machines eventually, and that was one of them. It's the sort of thing that, like, normal-sized machines are difficult to move, and I would worry about a feature like that just being broken. Whereas this is such an easy game to move that, you know, even if it's a little less convenient, like, I can carry this game around by myself. So,
you just jinxed yourself. You better print another one of those tomorrow.
I don't have it with me, but I do have a spare.
I have to say, the first time I hit that shot, I sounded like a small child giggling. I was so happy to see the ball roll through that little trail. Why don't you tell me about the plumb bob in the top of the machine? Like, what's the current state of it, and you know, what's the goal there?
Yeah, so instead of a tilt bob in the kind of front of the cabinet, the tilt bob is actually visible and exists in the head. One thing about this game is due to the size and both the legs as well. It's easy to shake this game around, and I thought a normal tilt bob would be a little too punishing just because, you know, you'd be playing and I feel like you would tilt. So I thought both being able to look at it and gauge how much you're shaking the game around would make that a little more fair. And then with it being a horror game, that also kind of increases the tension a little bit, that you're able to see what this thing is doing. So I decided to put it in a visible spot, and then I'm a big Wedgehead fan. I love, you know, the games that have mechanical animations like Buckaroo or Little Clown or whatever. So eventually that's going to be a whole little scene that will go along with the rest of the game, while also fulfilling that tilt bob functionality. So right now it's just functions like a normal tilt bob. Eventually there's going to be a special mode in the game where when you tilt, it's not just going to be a ball end, but rather it's going to be something like the Oxygen Destroyer mode from Godzilla, or, you know, something where it'll start a time mode that if you fail, you lose your ball, but if you succeed, it continues.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah. And
is there any other feature that you're like, that thing's got legs?
It does got legs.
So is there any other feature before we go over the next one that you're like, I need to talk about, I need to tell people about this, or try to, you know, is there any secret modes or switch hits that we need to try to aim for to trigger something cool this weekend at the Midwest Gaming Classic?
Not especially so yet. It does have a shaker motor, which is why it has the rubber feet, so it doesn't just walk away. So if you hit the outside the cabinet shot, it
Gives you a little
triggers
shake.
the shaker motor, so
Nice.
that's kind of fun.
Very cool. Amoto, why don't we go over to Kelly? Do you want to talk about Undertale, or do you want to talk about Volcano Blast?
Well,
Why don't we talk about your new one, Volcano
I
Blast?
figured
That sounds like
I've
fun.
been interviewed about Undertale a couple of times, so I figured let's give the new one a little bit of spotlight.
Absolutely. So in Volcano Blast, what was your marquee shot? Like the first thing you designed that you were like, I need to have this in a pinball machine, and then we could talk about that, or did you just design everything at once because you're a genius?
Well, I would say the volcano has been a recurring part of every version.
Does it blast?
It sure is.
Sorry, that was terrible.
Yeah. So the volcano, I always wanted it to be able to launch balls out of it,
Okay.
which I suppose is the answer to the ultimate question: does it eat the ball? Yes, it does.
Good call. Good call. Is there anything else that, like, in talking with Tanner, any sort of like modes or anything that we should be trying to aim for this weekend? Any new code that you want to show off?
Admittedly, right now there's not much game there.
Yeah, you're
a
just
lot-
happy you made it at this point,
Yeah,
right?
A lot of the work that I've done on it is on just getting it together, doing the internal design, the electronics, the audio system, all that stuff. Honestly, a lot of the features that are there, I implemented just within a week or two of the show. So as far as what there is, there's a random award feature that gives you either a ball save or good old-fashioned big points, which is 10,000.
Nice.
There's some drop targets. You can knock them down and then shoot the ball behind them to hit another target, which I don't remember if it awards points or not, but
Hey,
that's planned.
as long as the drop targets fall, if it doesn't score points back there, that's what code version are you at? You're like 0.84 or something. That's a 0.85 revision, so you're well on your way and all good. Amoto, why don't we go over to Ghost in the Shell here? Doug's artwork on Subhumans is gorgeous. It's sad that he decided not to join us because he's watching wrestling in the next room over. He couldn't miss it.
It's already started.
Yeah. So let's look at Ghost in the Shell. Ed, we've talked a lot about your game, and it's been out here. We've done a couple Marco in-depths and, under the glass. What's something that, we should be aiming for, code-wise, shot-wise, feature-wise? Like, give me the details.
If you do get a chance to go over and play it, there is my big feature is my left ramp, and I call it the two-way ramp. You can hit it forwards, or you actually hit it underneath. And if you get the scoop on the left, you start a mode where you have to hit it 9 times forward and 3 times reverse to complete all the members. It actually counts on the screen for you. That's one thing to try, and the other thing to try for is the hit all the cyborg letters out on there on the screen. That will give you into a switch hit mode. That the first one's kind of normal, you hit the ramp and you're done, but the second or third one kind of has a few. Third one has a local celebrity voice in there.
Yeah.
Big shout out to a lot of the community that helped me out. Those 3D printing's been done by Joe Zenkis, a friend of mine. The Section 9 speaker grills. Powder coating's brand new purple. Joe also made the screen underneath the ramp. That was added about 2 years ago.
Your user interface is so sexy.
I know.
A beautiful, beautiful man must have designed that.
There's this guy, I think he's working for Stern or a pinball company.
Yeah.
Jack Danger, thank you very much, has helped me.
I heard he worked on a movie that had a lot of bees in it.
Yeah, he did animations for a guy doing this.
Jack, I've got a photographic memory. I remember a lot of things.
Did Chris just Nardwar Jack there for a second? All right. Why don't we roll over to Dumpster Fire? And
Yeah, why don't we show Dumpster Fire?
we got
and then
about 5 minutes. And
Yeah, and then we'll go to the Parappa the Rapper game, because that one's actually really fun. So you can see there the blue cabinet is Killer Comet. It is currently in death. the middle's Parappa the Rapper, then Star Wars, Return from the Dumpster. But anyways, let's go back to Moto. Go back to the dumpster fire because it's not working. I broke a DVI or a DisplayPort to HDMI adapter, which I have a replacement for. But you can see here that television that's down there, that was found in an alley that I was just trying to avoid traffic. And I found it and then took it home and I repaired it.
Oh, hey, there's your
so
connector.
yeah, all it was the LEDs were broken.
Yep.
And so, which is a common thing on those. All of the metal that you see there was either found or, like, for example, the lockdown bar.
That's just
was just a piece of
sheet
like
form, right? Yeah.
Well, it was a piece of like stainless steel that was from that Portello's again.
Yo.
And I just bent it down. The lollipop on the side is from American Pinball. Thank you very much. Thank you, David Fix. The coin door, I can't remember. But a lot of the other electronics that are inside of there, the computers mostly come from Free Geek Twin Cities, who is here today. And then a lot of the, yes, you can see inside, behind the doors.
Why are you trying to copy Tanner like that?
Because, well, what I want is I would really like tall designers to stick their finger in there and get electrocuted. That's my goal. No, not at all.
Why don't we go over to
so let's go over to Parappa the Rapper, which is my most recent dumpster games. So Parappa the Rapper is one of my favorite arcade style games that has ever been made, and the saddest part about it is it never actually got a arcade release. Now this one right here, you can see this gentleman is dancing along. I envisioned it as a conversion kit. So this game came out in 1996. So any arcade game that would have come out at that time would have been a conversion kit of some kind or another. So I had a spare pole position sitting around my house.
Nice.
And I was like, hey, why don't I do this? And you can see here, I had to design a control panel for it. It has the 4 buttons that PlayStation typically uses. And then it has a yellow and a blue button for left and right. So you can play along with the various characters. And Moto, if you could go up and show, there's Mr. Chop Chop Onion. He is Master Chop Chop Onion. It's just look at his sexy best.
Very cool.
But if you take a look at the marquee real quick here, and there's a story behind why.
He's having so much fun. I want to play this game.
Yeah,
it's super fun.
I don't think she's going to be able to get a close up. That guy is grooving way too hard.
People have been playing it all weekend. But the reason I'm calling it this game's official title is The Dumpster Parappa the Rapper Now. And the reason that I called it that was the sequel to Parappa the Rapper was Uma Jamma Lammy Now. And no, Uma Jamma Lammy. And there was an arcade release that was supposed to be released by Namco. And there was one discovered in a talk show host in the UK. Anyways, so I decided, and it was called Uma Jamma Lammy Now. So I decided to call this one The Dumpster Uma Jamma Lammy Now.
Nice.
And that's why it's that way. Anyways, Amoto, go over to Star Wars real quick. Because
actually, I might need to hijack because I wanted to get a shot of Cuphead before we head out. Because that is another really cool style of game of that, like you've got designers
and Cuphead,
right now.
I know a little bit about the story of that. It was originally designed as a virtual pinball game. So you can go and get VPX, download Cuphead, and play it. And this particular game, what they decided to do was take it from virtual, which it plays beautifully, by the way, into reality.
Yeah, and that's actually a really cool point about, like, again, it's similar to Kelly's process. Cuphead being a VPX table that then got created and made into reality. Also, game like Sonic Spinball.
Oh, there we go.
Of course, Jody's back there.
Jody making a cameo.
But like Sonic Spinball, that Ryan McQuaid, who's now with American Pinball, was a virtual table, and he's done some interviews talking about that transition process of how to get it from
Matt,
that place.
Not just a virtual table, a great, very finished, very polished. Felt like a commercially released, like you would have expected it to be Zen, making this as a commercial product, and it Cuphead.
Yeah,
it plays beautifully and fits the theme perfectly because for those who don't know Cuphead's based on 1930s animation.
Yep.
And it is a throwback game, and that would have, of course, been an EL.
Yeah. And then once we get one last pan of that, if we could go back to Subhumans, that would be fantastic. So, like we talked about when I was talking to Ed originally, Ed's first attempt at homebrew or custom pinball was a retheme. From, I believe, if the story is correct, Subhumans is actually a Dolly Parton that was reimagined, redesigned, hand-drawn artwork done by a friend of ours, Doug, and it is... There are some people that go, there are many entry points into homebrew or custom pinball. There's basically there's no wrong way to do it.
So did you know that specific Dolly Parton actually has homebrew royalty? Because my mentor to build my own game was Scott Denisi, who built a little game you may have heard of called Total Nuclear Annihilation, which both of us own and will never sell. So when he built that in a Dolly Parton cabinet, the playfield that got pulled out is now Subhumans.
That's awesome.
I sold my Total Nuclear Annihilation and Scott, I sold it at a loss intentionally.
Ooh, that's not a good idea.
I never owned one. So.
So we're basically at time at time now. Guys, I wanted to thank you for your time coming up here.
Wait. We gotta give a shout out to Daikaiku because this game is super awesome. When I first played it reminded me of my first time playing Total Annihilation when it was a whitewood still. I unfortunately don't know a whole lot about. Do you guys know the designer's name? Everything. We played it at Expo a few years ago.
It's just appeared there.
It's such a fun game to play.
I'm going to be 100% honest, Emoto. I don't know who designed it. I've never seen it roll. I've never seen it enter the building. I don't see it exit. It's almost like Castlevania of like that machine shows up and disappears when it decides. I have no idea. I have no story on that. I'm a terrible moderator that I don't know.
I helped him install it. I helped him bring it in.
Nice. Well,
who is it?
You have an NDA, so you're not allowed to tell us.
I'm under NDA.
Yeah.
I've got to stay. I got to stay under NDA. Just like I'm going to tell you right now, at the very end of this, Stern's next 15 games.
Oh,
okay, are you ready?
That's
hold it. We are out of time.
So
Gosh.
if you get a chance to play that game, it's heart-pounding, heavy, fast. It's really fun.
And if you see me at the show, you can ask me which those games are. They're going to be great.
So again, I just wanted to sign off. My name is Matt Benzik. Thank you guys for coming out. I know you guys don't get a lot of time at the show to enjoy the show because you're watching your games, and then guys like me and Emoto pull you up on stage to talk about your games.
Yeah, I still have to go get I still have to go get 2 games working and a television.
You'll get there.
Tracked mode.
But
just want to say one quick thing. Big thanks to Matt for being our moderator today.
And thanks to Emoto.
His homebrew is
this was very lovely and fun, and a lot of us are the type of people that you can just pull our strings and we will talk. I could have probably done an hour by myself, but it is very fun, and we will end this all in a medley in honor of the new ABBA pinball game that was announced today, of us all singing Super Trooper.
Oh, okay.
Hold it. We're out of, we didn't get that cleared.
We are out of time.
What?
I mean,
oh my
let's.
Gosh, sorry the lawyer stepped in.
Like I said, thank you everyone on stream. Wonderful talking to you guys, and I'll be seeing you guys in like 5 minutes because I'm doing some software stuff with Skeleton Game, I think. So
and I'll be back here tomorrow to sell some like knives. Nice. Like the little ones you can cut tomatoes with and then cut steak with. They're just really great knives. Be here tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you guys, and talk to you guys later, Internet.
walkthrough, y'all. Bird music, jamming. How's everybody doing tonight? We're still hanging out at Midwest Gaming Classic. It's Friday night, preview night. So this is one of the best nights to come and play all the games before the crowds come over the weekend. Casey is 7 hours closer than TPF. I know, hey, I need to get with the Casey Retro team. So love to check out the show, see how we can participate. We'll see what's going on for this year and try to plan for something bigger next year. It'll happen. Hey, Spunky, thanks for joining me. I am waiting for Anna to join us, but I figured first, while we wait, we can do a little walkthrough of the show. So I'm gonna set that up real quick. All my fancy technology. Hold on. Hey, Burrs. Scooping from 11 to 12, where at? Yeah? Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, bet. I will be there. I don't need a chair to enjoy his ice cream. I will. Yeah. Yeah, I'll text him. Hi, Pez. We're going to do a walkthrough, y'all. Burrs is making us some awesome ice cream. He made some awesome ice cream for us. Hold on one second. I need to put this down. I'm blowing bubbles, y'all. That means we are on our I can't math. We're on hour 16. We got this. Wait for it. I need to move this Zoom clicker here. Sweet. All right. I'm going to make sure. I think my audio is working. Let's see. I'm going to turn this down. Oh wait, I gotta turn this up. Oh. Whoa. Come on. PC mic is up. Okay. Check, check, check. I can't get my screen to not be dirty. I need a new screen protector. All right. My nose is running. I'm sorry. I promise I won't touch any pinball machines until I sanitize. All right. There we go. Can you still hear me? Black Cat Pinball. I saw you logging on to play games on Steam earlier, and I was so jealous. I was like, he's playing video games. Y'all can hear me? Okay, sweet. We're going to do a walkthrough. We're waiting for Anna to join us. And In the meantime, I'll show you guys the rest of the show. Shipping. All right, so the better way for me to hold. This is where we've been streaming all day. It's been fun. We've been doing game maintenance, game fixing, troubleshooting. The seminar we just did with David was awesome. We fixed the prospector, which they've already rolled back behind there. But this is our booth. So Jaws is our headlining game. We're here with Stern Pinball and Kingpin Games. We brought our big Jaws booth out. We have 20 Jaws here. 22 Jaws, actually. One in the tournament and one is our product demo Jaws. The leaderboard challenge is going on. Everyone has till Sunday at 3 to get their names up on the leaderboard to win some prizes. Let's see. You see your name up there? I see some names I recognize. Nice. All right. I'm hoping y'all can still hear me and see me. All right. Besides Jaws, we brought Venom, Stranger Things, Deadpool, 007, Godzilla, Iron Maiden, Jurassic Park, Avengers, some Star Wars. For the most part, I potted up the games by designer that is playing. And Kingpin also brought out a bunch of games. We got Labyrinth and a Jersey Jackpot, some ice cold beer, which I would love to have and would love to play this weekend. Everyone's enjoying pinball until midnight tonight. Elvira House of Horrors and AC/DC. It's super cool for Kingpin to bring those out as well. Their booth is looking epic. Hi! That's really cool. They got a little photo wall. You can see all their art plates. The cool trust. Hey guys! Wave to the live stream. We got Troy from Tilt and Kingpin. Everyone's here just hanging out, enjoying pinball. Yeah. Yeah, oh, I want to. I know, it's so big. All right, this is what he says I need for my arcade. This Godzilla VR Kaiju Wars, the new Raw Thrills VR game. It is a beast. I'm gonna see if this works. I would really love to get a pulse check. I just want to see the chat. What's up? Oh, thanks for the raid subside. Okay. All right, we're back. Are we back? There we go. With some Pulp Fiction. Oh, I see. It's whenever I switch over, it switches to my wide angle camera, which is not as good quality, and that makes me really sad. It's Tilt Amusements Row of games that you can buy. They got the leaderboard up as well, standing in front of Spooky. Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Looney Tunes, and Scooby-Doo are here. Let's check out some Looney Tunes real quick. pretty cool. Living the dream. Yep. It's pretty Scooby-Doo action. And their new Texas Chainsaw Master. And Looney Tunes. Their displays keep getting cooler every year. And this is the fan favorite, Motorhead. Congrats to David Peck, Brad Albert, and team for making this beautiful beast. All right, we're going to keep going. I'm so tired. I don't even know what to say anymore, but I'm just going to show y'all some cool stuff. The stair climber. We got Alien and Queen, some Pinball Brother games, hanging out. How did you do that? Dude, he cloned himself, and that makes so much sense why he's at every show, because we were literally just talking to him 5 seconds ago there, and he's just standing here like he's been here for the past, I know. You got the leader. Oh. Jay Brand, ladies and gentlemen. Our inspiration. If you don't know Jay, you should know Jay. Oh, he has a shark fin. You have a shark fin?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He is the creator of Pinball Olympics, the most wild pinball tournament you will ever experience in your life. It's usually scheduled around Pinball Expo time, so look out for that. It's where you play pinball machines in the weirdest ways ever, and that's our inspiration for our Six Flags Pinball Funhouse, the new title, tournament that we're doing at the VIG after party tomorrow. Oh, I think Anna is here. Awesome. I'm going to start walking back to the booth. Let's see if I can get her in the call. Anna, if you can hear me, we are live right now. I'm walking back to the booth so we can set up. There's rows of so many console and PC games to play, and then it feeds you into the arcade games area.
Nice. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yay.
Thanks for joining us. Oh, wow. Look at that. Some analog gaming.
Oh, that's cool. That's rad.
Yeah. So it's been a pretty cool show so far. There's tons of arcades and video games and tabletop gaming and vendors.
Wow.
Yeah, it's they take over the entire Baird Center. It's a Milwaukee Convention Center in downtown Milwaukee, and all 3 floors are filled with gaming content. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna jump off of this one. Hold on. Maybe let's see. What's gonna be the best way to do this? Let me stop this video, and I'm gonna start our video over here. Can you still hear me?
I can.
Okay, awesome. We will go to show you our OBS virtual camera.
I have nothing but black shirts, so I just wore a tank top so I don't look like a floating head.
Perfect. gonna jump out of.
Okay, so you should be able to hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you and I can see you also.
Awesome. Hello, everybody out there. We're gonna play some Pin Builder together and make a cool new pinball machine. I don't know if I want to start from the one we did, the first one.
No, let's do a new one.
Okay, awesome. So Anna, I'm gonna switch my audio real quick, but
Uh-oh, hang
while
on.
I do that,
Okay.
while I do that, tell us about the new updates you have to Pin Builder.
All right. I'm kind of trying to set up here too a little bit. So with the update that came out late last night, about midnight my time, Arizona time, I added a new room, which is actually a spinoff of one of my favorite movies, which is The Shining, the Stanley Kubrick version. And it's got some really cool stuff. It's got the bathroom scene from, the bathroom from room 237 and some other cool, weird stuff from that movie and the carpet and stuff like that. So that's a new thing is the room. And as far as the game itself goes, the playability and modability and all that, I added silicone rubber as an option to the flippers and some posts and all the posts and the slingshots and things like that have rubber. So currently there's just the standard version of each of the post types, which is just the basic plastic, and the standard flippers, which has the silicone option. I may just set that up so that it's a separate option altogether so that you don't have to pick a variant of a component type to select silicone. I think that'd be better. Let's see, there's some small bug fixes and some big bug fixes, and also VR is now enabled. So
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Oh my gosh, yes, please. Sorry. Tell us about the VR.
yeah, so I am so excited about VR because last week I bought one of these guys. This is the Quest 3. This thing is so awesome. I can't tell you how awesome it is. I got this 16-foot cable, and if you plug it in, it's the USB-C to a USB 3.0, and so I plug that straight into the back of my computer, and it works amazing. So you use the Oculus Rift software, turn that on, and then in Steam, you turn on Steam VR, and then...
Right.
When you're in the game, and I can show you when we get the... Do you want me to share my screen, my pin builder?
Yeah, let's look at it.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Where do I go for that? Share screen.
All right, I'm going to see...
Pin builder. Okay.
Let's see if it'll work. Hold on.
And it does say I'm sharing it, so...
Yep, good. I see it. I just need to get it into frame.
All right.
Oops.
Oh. Set mute. Oh, docked bottom.
Okie dokie.
Oh, it looks like it's up there.
All right. Oh my gosh. There you go. That's the big two.
Nice.
Yay.
Yeah, okay. That looks like it's working.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Okay, sweet. So, are you ready?
Let's see. I'm trying to get it to like that. Okay, that works.
All right. Okay, so let's see. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So if you want to turn off the build sounds, you can do that here with this little rascal right there. There's a new option for that.
Oh, nice.
And then this use VR if connected button is not functional right now. So, and I don't think I even need it. So I may just take that out of there. So if anybody sees that, don't be confused. If it does nothing for you, you shouldn't need it. So let's go back to the menu. Now, I don't have my VR stuff on at the moment, and I don't want to turn it on during the stream because every time I've done that during a live stream, it has crashed my stream. So
I'm sure. Yeah, the video processing needed for all of that.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna do that tonight. But if you go to the Pin Builder YouTube channel, I think it's 2 videos ago. Or 1 video ago, there is a video where I do show myself being in VR. So you can check that out. So if you do have a VR headset connected, these little icons down here, these buttons will turn green, like a nice bright green. And you can click on them, and that will open up the table, whichever table it is here, in VR. And it's currently just opening it up in a very basic VR room. I will set it up so that we can open up stuff in the new or in any of the rooms, and I need to build a new menu for that. So it'll be VR only environment that you're in when you're in VR. And I'm also working on AR or MR, augmented or mixed reality, excuse me, in which you should be able to just play and see only the pinball machine with the pass-through. So it'll be like it's sitting in your own house or room. So the Quest 3 has a bunch of cameras on it that do a full color, pretty good definition video pass-through. So when you turn it on and have pass-through enabled, you can see yourself, and the lag is almost non-existent. I'm so impressed with this thing. It's so
it's literally like you're playing the pinball machine in your house.
Yeah.
That you made.
That you make, yeah. Yeah, it is amazing. Standing in the middle of a space that I created, it's just, it's just so mind-blowing. It's so exciting. Wow. That tech is awesome. I've been trying it out with some other stuff, other games that I have too. I have a really cool older racing game that is natively VR enabled, and it is just amazing. It feels like you're really driving. And with this, it really feels like you're standing there playing a pinball machine. So for anyone who has virtual, flipper buttons and stuff like that, it would be a mind-blowing experience.
Absolutely.
I'm going to set it up, too, so that you can use a controller to grab the plunger and let it go and stuff like that. So make it really immersive, And so you can also touch the components on the playfield, like drop targets manually and things like that. So, yeah, I'm jazzed about that. So let's see. Do you have any questions or thoughts on the VR world?
I just want to play the VR game, and my mind is blown. Like, the level you're taking it to is so amazing, Anna.
Thanks.
Like, I can touch a drop target and it go down. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We do have some questions in the chat. So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I also really want to set it up so that you can build a table in VR. I think that might be fun.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
I was thinking too, the next level is like troubleshooting a pinball machine. So like, as you were saying before when we were last talking, there's going to be some degradation in the parts, right? Like potentially like rubber breaks and you need to replace the rubber, in that sort of sense. So it'd be cool if the next level of Pin Builder is like pin repair, and I'm sitting here putting in the new tight silicone beds on my Homebrew game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like flippers, coils will burn out, and you'll see a little smoke or something. And
adjusting the switches and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I am really looking forward to getting to that point. Up until this point, June 2nd, and the game will have been on Steam for early access for a whole year.
Yay, congrats.
Yeah. And
happy anniversary.
Thank you. I'm not sure how long early access will go, I don't expect it to be more than 2 years, I'm hoping, because I've got a lot of the real core mechanics and gameplay, pinball-related stuff, kind of knocked out. And a lot of the bugs and stuff are really gone. So it's kind of one of those things. It's like, okay, well, how far do I go with development before I say, oh, it's ready for prime time? But the truth is that the only difference between it being an early access and full release is the name, full release or early access, because I'm not going to stop working on it. It's going to constantly evolve, regardless of whether it's in full access, So the game is just going to keep on getting better. And that's exciting for me because I really love working on it.
That's super exciting for all of us too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anna.
Yeah. And one last thing I wanted to mention was I recently was talking to a gentleman who builds homebrew pinball kits. And these are kits that you can buy. I wish I could remember his name. I know his name is Ernie.
Is it Ernie Silverberg?
Yes,
Titan
it is.
Pinball?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, not Titan. Trident Pinball.
Trident, that's it.
Trident Pinball. Yay! I love Ernie.
So he and I are talking about releasing. He's going to include a copy of Pin Builder with his tables that he is selling. And one of the reasons for this is because Pin Builder had, up until I changed the playfield wood to a modifiable mesh, it had and will again have a layout printer option or export option where you can just press O on the keyboard while you're in edit mode, and it will print out to a JPEG a large graphic of the playfield layout. So it would have markers and everything for where posts would go and holes and stuff like that. So you could lay that out on an actual piece of wood and then use that as a template for your real world game. So that's one of the things he and I are kind of working on right now. So that's very exciting.
That is so exciting. Oh my gosh. Yes. I love it. It's perfect. Okay. A few questions from the chat.
Okay.
So the first one was from Mr. Max. Mad MR Max.
Yeah.
I think that's one of your players, right, in the game?
I believe so. Yeah.
Content creators? What do you call people that are putting stuff into the... My terminology is so terrible right now.
Users, players.
Yeah.
Or
users.
Pin builders.
Oh.
That's kind of what I end up.
Fellow pin builder. And then you can upload, your pinball machine that you've built to, what is that called? The market, or what's the Steam terminology for that?
Steam Workshop.
The workshop. Right. So your pin builder workshop. Anyway. He said, any chance there could be improvements to making it easier to use Pin Builder on laptop screens, specifically working with non-widescreen aspects and touchpad mouse support?
Huh. Interesting. Now, I do have a laptop that meets those specifications. The downside of laptops typically is, unless they're a gaming laptop, you really do need at least a decent video card that can run a game on it.
Right.
This system I build the game on is an older i7 6850K CPU with 24 gigs of RAM and an old EVGA 1080 Ti. So, I'm developing the game on that, but I do have an older laptop. I think it's an i7, and the game doesn't really run terribly well on that. But if you go into the settings here and you turn all these display settings way down, then you can probably run the game on there. And I would just recommend use a mouse. Using your finger on a little touchpad is going to be kind of a pain, I think, It's just never going to be the same. A mouse is really what you need because, you need a right click to do camera movement and stuff like that, and then left click for selection. But as far as play mode goes, yeah, you almost don't need that. Except for you should be able to use a mouse to select a game just to play it, and then you can use a keyboard to flip the flippers and shoot the ball and start the game and all that. So if your laptop can handle it, maybe do that. Unless that's all somebody has, and then if that's the case, I don't know, maybe worth looking into. But it's really a video game. It's designed to be used like a video game. So rather than, I know that some of the other programs like Future Pinball, which I've also like many years ago I've developed. I made an 8-ball deluxe for that back about 12 years ago. Right. Yeah, but those are much simpler graphic wise. So they're good for older laptops, I think. Anyways, that's my answer to that. Sorry, it was kind of lengthy.
No, it's good. The turning down the settings thing is actually a really cool tip. Just for anyone that's dealing with, maybe you don't have the best video card. That's gonna get you pretty far. By the way, the shining carpet, it's so awesome. This whole room is beautiful. The lighting detail, the textures. Okay, I'm going to go to another question real quick.
All right.
From Pinball Addict asked, will it be possible to do AR natively on PC, or would you need to use the virtual desktop pass-through on Quest?
It should be native. I am still in the process of learning about that and digging into it, but I will, my goal is to make it native so that you could basically select, like if you go here, like you could have open in AR or VR,
Nice.
That's my goal. So I want it to be as simple and seamless as possible. So I think that'll be my goal, AR or VR selection here in the menu. So that's the plan. And if not, I will have to let you know.
For sure. I love that you're doing constant updates on your channel, on YouTube channel, right?
Yeah. And in Facebook also. Try to keep up to date there. And a lot of teasers go out on the Facebook channel too.
Very cool. All right. Show us the gold room. Oh, this is great.
Yeah, and there's that picture at the end of the show or a movie.
Oh yeah, I love this slow zoom in.
I also did a video. It's on another YouTube channel I have. It's I don't remember the name of the YouTube channel because it's been a while since I posted this video, but one day I was watching the movie, and I love analyzing this movie. It's just so fascinating. This picture is actually a really old picture from the 20s, and they superimposed Jack's face and some other faces onto the people in the thing, or in the picture. But one thing I noticed was this exit sign back here, which I thought looked awfully modern. And that got me to thinking about exit signs in the movie. And what I noticed after going back and analyzing the movie even further, and I should have put an exit sign in here somewhere.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I didn't do that. But it's sort of fascinating. If you go through the movie and look at the exit signs, you'll notice that they don't actually point towards the exit of the building, of the hotel. They point towards like the Gold Room or to the center, to the Colorado Lounge. And so they're all pointing inward into the hotel. Like the exit is backwards. It's such a cool thing.
Whoa. So, and it's Stanley Kubrick, so that's got to be intentional completely, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, sure. I have to go. I never did notice that either.
So if you look on YouTube and you search for The Shining exit signs, my video is the first one to pop up. It's got like 17,000 views now. It's kind of
my gosh, I'm going to post it.
Okay. But it's so fascinating. I don't talk in that. I just, use text and stuff. But it's just, I never get tired of the movie because my parents took me to see it in 1980 in the theater, and I was fascinated by it because Jack was just like my father, just like him. He had the two sides. Kind of on one side, he was kind of jovial, cool, hey, and then on the other side, he was a raging maniac, not a murderer, but just a rager, And so it was weird. I could identify.
Oh my god!
It was pretty weird.
It's such a scary movie.
Yeah.
So.
And I did not build this bathroom model. I did modify it with some texturing, and I had to add a couple of things to it. But I got this from Sketchfab. There's a link in the update video for that. But
I have goosebumps. Do not go any closer to that bathtub. Are you playing a pinball video game or a horror game? I'm so scared.
Is she back there?
So great.
Where is she? Is she in
there?
Know.
Oh my
That's
God.
as far as you can. You can't go any further than that, though. It's
Oh,
sort of
thank God. My eyes are watering. My heart's beating so fast.
And no rivers of blood yet. I might add that.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah, you have to. This is so awesome. Who would have thought?
Oh, I did also add the actual plug there, so there's power to the machines now, and those are little flexible cables that will move around once you come in and out. You have to load a table. Let's see. Let me just load up this one. This is one that one of our pin builders built. That's pretty fascinating. See there, the cables moving around. It's pretty neat.
Why you gotta make everything so creepy? I'm gonna have to play this game with the lights on.
You can turn the lights down.
I love the reflections on the nice chrome legs. Oh my gosh. That's when she should pop out. Oh no.
Oh, there's the Great Earth Mother.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That was outside Stuart Ullman's office. Yeah.
I love all the details you're putting in there.
Thanks. Yeah. I'm going to just keep making cool rooms like this, not all Shining related, of course. I'll just pick a different theme every time I make a room, because all my life, not only have I done programming and game development, but also 3D modeling, and I love it. And so building stuff like this, little environments for pinball play, is really fun. So I think that adds a cool, color to the game also.
Yeah, nice element to it. So in this room, can I put multiple pinball machines?
No, in this one it's
one?
Yeah, in this one it's just the one, and the only one that's got multiples really currently is this main arcade here, and this is probably the first room I think that I made for it.
Right.
So this one has whatever your most recent 5 games are that you've been tinkering with or working with or whatever, those will be the ones that show up in here.
Nice.
So as you can see, we got all those. And then there's our other game, or my other game, I should say, Meteor Commander, which is a knockoff, a 3D kind of fun version of Asteroids.
Yeah.
But I like this room in terms of the lighting quality. It had a really multicolored carpet before, and I decided to go ahead and change it to this plain gray carpet so that the room was less colorful, so that you could really see the color of your pinball machines without them being distorted by other colors, as it were. And they're just sense. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And let's see, what else is new? Yeah. So there's this one, which is just a basic garage. I want to make this a little bit dirtier and, make it look more like a garage, but it's got some stuff in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just kind of basic.
I feel cool.
Kind of space. Yeah. And then somebody recently asked me if I could just put a black space in there. And so I put this one together. The outlet comes with the cabinet, so you're going to have a outlet connected to nothing. But but it's just an empty black space. There is a downside to black, however, and that is that, as you can see, black reflects black off of the metal.
Yeah.
So you don't get that illumination of the metal too well. And whereas in like one of these other areas, you get a lot better visual quality because it's reflecting something lighter.
Right.
Like that. So you can really see the stainless steel and stuff like that. Anybody got any more questions out there in pinball land?
It would be cool in the Black Void if you could add other elements like RGB lighting somewhere just in the plane or field, but
yeah, maybe. Well, somebody was asking me once recently if it would be possible for users to make their own custom rooms. And I have thought about that previously, and truth be told, there's a lot of, it's almost like I had to build a custom database, and it's very complicated, in order to save all of the pinball machine colors, components, variants, scoring, logic, all that stuff. So that's an incredibly complicated sort of it's not an actual database, but it's an array of arrays, and it's a pretty complex save game structure. I would have to build something like that for the room, so it'd be like a whole separate editor. So kind of like how we have the edit mode, it would have to be edit mode for rooms. And if that ever comes to fruition, it won't probably be for some time, but that's not to say I can't do it. I mean, could surely add that, but I just wanted to point that out.
That's incredible. The sky is the limit.
It really is. Yeah, it really is.
You look at the ceiling, and then you can change the drop ceiling tiles to different stuff.
Right. Yeah. I did move those. I did move them up in the other room. They were low, like about where these are. And if I go up to the ceiling in here, you can. So here's our workshop. Before I move further, I did add a couple of things in here. I added this 8-ball pull string to this fluorescent light. And it actually moves, which is kind of fun. So I'm going to tab back into the arcade for a second and show you that I did actually raise the ceiling in here. That's why I looked up, because the ceiling's a little bit higher in here now. One of the reasons why is for virtual reality. It was really low. But now when we tab back in there, the little pull string will bounce, kind of. It's kind of funny. Boing.
Oh.
And then there's a little notepad with some notes on it that I put in there. So it's not the real to-do list. Oh, and here I have, you may recognize that. I can't get any closer to it.
Nice.
That's the receipt from something I received recently. Thank you.
Yay.
And that, the idea
nice.
guide.
You got our little guide.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I'll show you some of the recent update stuff. Let me bring up the light a little. So if we go into logic mode, you can see that this is from a gentleman across the world. His name is Andar, and he has been doing a lot of really neat stuff. So this is one of his tables that he has done. And it's actually got some new features that I have recently added. He didn't do this CPU here. So when we put logic controllers in here, these are used to control the logic of switches and timers and logic flow. And now they can do a lot. So if we look here, we have event types for every logic controller, and there are a lot. So you can switch something on or off. You can toggle it back and forth from on or off. You can do sequential, random selection, and so on and so forth. I go on and explain all these in detail in the videos that I've posted with the updates for them. And I think the last video I did has more info about sequential, which had an update. and random select, and reset is new, and so on and so forth. But there are the event types for logic, and then there are completion types also. So if you want something to, have a certain, like if you want to turn a magnet on, you can toggle the magnet and you can toggle it on or off, depending. And so on and so forth. And there's also flipper inputs here. So basically, if you have a flipper input type there and you press a flipper, it will send a signal through that logic controller, and then you can do things like lane change, lighting up at the top, and things like that. And I've implemented that. Actually, I've implemented all of these options into the games that come with Pin Builder, which are Twisted Circus, Star Destroyer, Kaiju Battle, Alien Meadow. This is behaving weirdly. And Unfathomable, and maybe not so much in Heavy Gunner. But if you want to see how some of the logic stuff works, you can check those out because they have logic control like that. But what I added recently was this collapsibility. So if you have a whole bunch of logic controllers, like this series of 10 here, and you're wanting to collapse them down so that they sort of take up less space, you can pick one of them, and as long as the group you have that you want to collapse all share the same group name up here, this is digit 1, then you press this collapse button and it collapses them into a CPU, and that will give you a little bit clearer image of your play field there. So the rest of them that are not this CPU over here all have no name, so they're all no group name set, and when you collapse them, it'll collapse all those to this one. So instead of all those logic controllers, you can collapse them down to just a few, and that really helps. And the N key will show all of the logic connections, regardless of if they're collapsed or not, and that gives you just an overview of your logic control. And you can also, let's see, let me change the color of this to make it a little bit different than the other two. And this one also will go green on that one. And now if I press that again, well, those are not sharing that green color. Oh, I know why. It's because it's not a group color. So if I want to expand these back out, I just hit that and you can see them all there. So if you go through and press these, let's see, if I click here and put the green color there, and then I click one and press the C key, it copies that color and pastes it, or it pastes that color to whatever you want. And that makes it really easy to change colors. And then when you go back and click on these, they'll show green. So if we show them all, you can see the green ones mixed in there.
Nice.
And that way you can differentiate your logic a lot better if you want to. And then you can, of course, collapse. And when you collapse down, I'm selecting number 5 here. And when I collapse them all down, it collapses and it shows the group name there. So it's really good for organizing all your logic.
That is amazing. Mad Max says he loves the CPU collapse on the logic controllers.
Yay!
And yeah.
By the way,
really cleans it up.
Oh, yeah. And you can move these out of the way if you want. But you got to remember that if you expand them back out, the one that you've moved is going to be the one that is the CPU. So if you select a different one and you collapse to that one, they'll all collapse to that one right there. So something to keep in mind, so you can collapse them over to the side or whatever. I just wanted to say Max is one of the most prolific pinball table builders in Pin Builder. He has uploaded so many amazing tables to the workshop. So he's
awesome.
Really neat stuff.
Maybe we can check out one of his tables.
Yeah, well, actually, I did that during a live stream that I did myself 2 weeks ago, and the video played.
Okay.
So it's actually I need to add that. So I need to add do not upload copywritten material or whatever.
Oh yeah, totally.
So I thought I had that there, but I don't. So that'll be a new update.
Or maybe like you're not liable for any copyright material uploaded.
Yeah, something to that effect. But you know what's awesome is that Steam itself goes through any thing uploaded to the workshop, and it double checks to make sure that nothing in there is copyrighted. So I think it actually flagged that table of Max's because I went to go ban the table myself, and it was already hidden from view. So I think they actually already flagged it. Maybe Max could. Excuse me, I'm drinking espresso. So maybe Max could attest to that. I don't know, but anyway.
A question Max had in the chat too was, is there any chance there'll be ability to change the back height of the cabinet with a number versus just a deep or shallow switch or variant?
Probably. Well, that's like a good question. Yeah, so like this back section could be raised or lowered, like to a custom version. I would have to make all these parts custom meshes in order to do that. Right now, these are all static meshes. So if you change this to a wide, well, deep, you see it'll pop up like that. So let's go back to, you can see how it changes to the deep cabinet and the standard, and then the wide body is actually wider. You can't do that manually right now. And
can you change the pitch of the game?
Yes, you can.
Oh, nice.
Excuse me. So in order to do that, let's tab over to play mode, and I'll show you quickly how to do that.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's not a vision. And the Alt key, the left control, and just roll the mouse wheel. That will change the table angle. So essentially, it says it's 45 degrees. So imagine the playfield tipped up at 45 degrees. So it behaves that way. So let me show you. Let's load just a blank one, and I will show you how that looks.
Yeah, 45 is.
It's very steep.
Very steep.
All right, so I'm going to put a ball spawner up here, and I'll turn it around this way, and I'm going to give it a velocity of 1. So it basically will spawn and start rolling. If you have a velocity of 0, it'll just sit there and it won't move. That's by design. And let's see, I'll move that over here so it'll kind of bounce. Actually, let's give it something to bounce off of. This could be the precursor for our table that we build too. So
yeah,
I'll just put this here with the default of 4. And I'm going to switch to the silicone rubber. And we'll change it to... Okay, so now we'll go back over here. And I'm just going to set the table down to its default of 12. And we'll start it. I don't know if you can hear my cat in the background.
No, I wish.
Come here, do that. He's meow. What you doing? Of course, he's right here now, and he won't say anything. All right, so this is
Pinball cats. That's the next thing you need.
And he won't say anything. All right, so this is
Pinball cats. That's the next thing you need to add in the game. Is your cat like walking around and jumping on the playfield? Typical cat stuff. Chasing the ball, standing on the glass.
There he is. He doesn't like that one. Doesn't like being picked up. Yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe I could do a 3D scan and put him on a corner or in a corner or something. Okay, so I'm going to spawn just one ball, and we'll see. This is the normal table angle. So that's what that looks like. Now, if we go up to 45, and I spawn another one. I don't know if you could tell, but it falls a lot faster.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Okay, wait a second. Why? There we go. All right, so let's go back down and let's do like 1 degree. They're still rolling down. Wait a minute. They're supposed to not roll at all. Oh, I know why. You know what? I've adjusted the ball physics, and I need to take that into account. They should just kind of roll around and not go anywhere, but
Like the physics of the ball is a lot heavier? Or?
yeah, it's, I think because, yeah, you see the one over here on the right side, it kind of has a lot less, yeah, it doesn't go down to 0, so it's not perfectly flat. That's the problem, because it's still putting some gravity onto the ball. So here, if we I probably should make that a lot faster. I think I'm going to have to add that to my update list to fix that, because it seems like it's not as drastic of a difference between 45. I mean, that would be like, it should be way faster. And then 0 should be, they'll just roll around and never go down the drain. So I definitely need to update that. But
and I think like for Stern games, they say a 6.5 to 7 degree incline is kind of their standard play, but
all right, yeah.
For faster gameplay, we usually hike up to whatever the tip of the 3-inch leg levelers are, which I guess is more of like 12 degrees or something like that.
Yeah, maybe 12. Yeah. On my old games, I have in-house currently I have Elvira and the Party Monsters, 8-Ball Deluxe, Firepower, Gorgar, an old Kiss, and Jungle Lord left. I've sold some, but I always liked putting a 2x4 under the back 2 legs.
Oh my God.
To give it a real...
You're even more savage.
Yeah.
Really get them hiked up. That's awesome. It makes the game fun.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else new. I have a list. Hang on, I'll get my list here. So how's everybody else doing out there? Any more thoughts or questions or anything?
Pinball Addict said some pinball engines have had to change the entire world scale to enable the physics of small objects to be more accurate.
Well, this is actually based on real world scale. So whoops, sorry, I'm moving around so fast. So these posts are actually, so here's a cool story that I think you might appreciate. Back when I was doing restorations, I was working on a Bally Space Invaders. Art-wise, one of my favorite games. Play-wise, not so much. But I decided I was going to do a special post that I could 3D print with a Space Invader on it. And so I 3D modeled that, and this model that you're looking at right there, that post is the foundation I made, measured off of the posts off of the game. So this post is actually, I don't remember the height now. I use millimeters, but it is the height and width and size of an actual post. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and to me that was really important because I had read, before I really got into development on this game, I decided I want this to be as realistic as I can possibly make it. And I thought I probably should have real world scale just to make sure that the physics work right, because Unreal Engine is based on real world. Their physics engine is their own, and it is based on real world scale. So that was really important to me. And you can actually change the ball weight here in settings. So the typical ball weight, according to Marco Specialties, is 81.5 grams. And so you can make it heavier if you want, or lighter if you want. That's just globally in the game, so that will change your entire gameplay slightly. That maybe should be a byte per ball or per table kind of thing. I don't know. But yeah, so that's real world scale there. And the grid also, press 5 and you get the grid. That is also 10 millimeters each, or centimeters. So each thicker line is 5 centimeters away. So that's real world scale.
And that's going to be awesome to translate that into the Trident pinball custom homebrew kits too.
Yes.
Printing that off and getting the gold cut.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think I have that. Do I have it enabled? No, I disabled it for the update. Yeah, for that, basically you press the O key in this edit mode and it will print out a layout for each of the 3 levels. So it'll do a 3-level. If you have playfield levels beyond just this one, so let's say you decide, hey, I want to have a second playfield, and you put this playfield in here. I'm going to code the game so that it says, oh, hey, I found this other piece of wood here, and I'm just going to make another level, so it'll print out, in this case, 2 layouts, one for this level and one for the bottom level.
Right, of course.
And all that. So yeah. And if you change to upper mode, it moves that grid up there so that you can use the grid there, and so on and so forth. So you can grab these guys and hold down shift to snap and make like perfect squares if you want. I think my grid is actually slightly off. The movement is right, but I think I need to adjust the grid a bit, and that was something that I needed to do for this update, and I totally forgot. But anyways, so yeah, that's
yeah.
Cool. I'll leave that there in case we decide to use it later.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna try to do a speed run to build a table together. So everyone in the chat as well too, if you have any suggestions on where you want to see stuff to go. I don't know how it got so late so fast, and I've been enjoying our dialogue. What's my time? I think we might get kicked out at midnight here, which is in about 15, 20 minutes. But we'll see. Let's just keep playing. That's all right. Till the lights go off. All right. So I think, man, where do we start? With the flippers. Last time we started with an upper playfield and kind of worked reverse. So we'll go a little bit more standard.
All right. How about the new silicone rubber flippers?
Yeah, let's do it.
So what color do you want the silicone to be?
Let's do blue. For Jaws is our headlining game, so I've been designing like ocean waves stuff here. We have our whole team, and
nice.
So just
want to do the whole thing blue, or?
Oh, interesting. Oh man.
What color do you think?
Yeah, sure.
Like blood in the water?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Sure.
And then
I'll just from our shining now, yeah. And then you can just copy and paste to that.
Yeah. So in order to do that, I'll click on this one, and I just click on these two, and it copies them to here. And these 2 swatches show you what is in your copy. And so when you click on that, these 2 swatches show you the current colors. And when I press the C key, it copies these colors to whatever. So even if you have a post in there, you can do the same thing. And it copies the colors to those also. So, yeah.
Cool.
So let's see. Okay, so typically I would also start with flippers like that. And the next thing I would put is rails. So what do you want to do? Do you want to do these wire types? We can do these. We can use those, or we can also use these metal ones that are kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
And that can act like
metal ones.
All right. So we could do something like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right. I'll just put that up there. And that's almost straight. Something like that.
Yeah. Oh, so.
And then if we want a post to hold it up, we can just throw in one of these guys. Boop. And it's basically just like a holder.
Nice. So in Jaws, there's a feature, and there's a lot of games that kind of do this too. Viking or Paragon, I think maybe even Future Spot has it, where if you nudge on the right side, when the ball rolls down in the out lane, you get a chance to save it to get it back into the in lane to your flipper.
Ah, okay. So is there some kind of post there that lets you bounce?
Yeah, right. It like bounces off the post.
So which type of post do you think?
Like the small metal post. Yeah, like that guy.
We could also use one of these. But yeah, I think that one.
Oh yeah, I think something with that type of post that like the ball hits it and it allows it to kind of have a chance to life save it.
All right.
Maybe that would be interesting to see if the nudge feature would bump it up into there too.
Yeah. Just do it like that.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
And then actually this lane is kind of wide. Let's use this guy over here. And I'm going to grab that ball. This is the size of the ball, so we could use it to gauge the width.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And let's see, with the grid off, we can still hold down the shift key and snap these to make them straight, like that.
Nice.
Let's see. And we'll just bring that up like that. That'll probably work. Let's go here. Actually, let's make that. I'm going to change that color. So one of the things, I don't know if you've noticed me doing that makes it much easier to click and stuff. If you have this on select mode, then you can click stuff and it won't move. It'll just select it. Whereas if you're in grab mode, you can grab stuff and it might accidentally move, and that can get a little bit frustrating when your stuff's moving around. So, oops, I don't want that. Oh, I did fix the cancel on this so that colors don't accidentally revert to black. I'm gonna make these blue, just to keep it all kind of the same. Oh, this needs to be shorter, doesn't it? So we could, what do you think? Like maybe bump it there and...
Yeah. Can you make the tip less point? Yeah, something like that maybe. We'll give it the opportunity to bump up and go over.
Yeah. And we'll put one of these here.
Nice, roll over. Very cool.
And maybe one of these guys. Yeah, these guys have a silicone option as well. And let's go back and we'll grab those. And
oh, sweet, thanks, dude. Hell yeah. I got delivered dinner.
Ooh, nice. Dinner is good. So let's see. Let's make sure we got enough space there. It's about right. And that's probably good right there. Yeah, so we can maybe bounce it over and that gives us a chance. Whoop. Right in there.
Yeah. I wonder, maybe we need like if it bounces and hits that rubber from the sling, it might just send it back.
Yeah. Okay, so we could scooch these guys over. Not that far, maybe, but let's see. Let's put one of these here. Oops.
Oh, yeah.
So let's do that. So to kind of block it off, I want to make sure we got not too tight, but not too loose of a space there. And we can bring that down. And we'll keep that short there.
Oh, I think we forgot the shooter lane. Is it on?
No, it's right there.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh no. Oh, okay, it's already part of the cabinet. Great.
So we could do that red or blue. Not green. I want blue.
It's pretty.
There, that'll work. Something like that, maybe.
All right.
Yeah, that looks kind of cool. All right, so that should give us the ability. This lane may be a little wide, but it should give us the ability to bounce over and maybe not. I don't know, though, now that I'm thinking about it. Well, yeah, that'll help to like feed it in here. Let's just see what happens if we put that right there and spawn a ball there and see if it just bounces over.
Yay.
Nope. All right. Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have changed because you know what? That's probably pretty good because now we'll need English. So let me try this again. So the shorter your tap, oops, I knocked the ball back in there. Oh, too late. Oh, well, that worked, but I used the wood to knock it over.
Oh, maybe the post can be up a little bit higher and out more. Maybe like a...
So that it actually just bounces it over there? Okay. Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, that's true. There's the nudging factor. You need to nudge.
Yeah.
Could you do that with your nudging?
I did, but the ball bounced off like right here. So I nudged it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, it was nudging.
Yeah. I think too, if this were higher, it might it would have a little bit more energy going that direction.
Oh yeah, I see.
I like this idea. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Is that with you nudging or not at all?
No nudging, but it would have to roll fairly straight in there.
Oh yeah, true. So if it was coming at an angle, you would maybe need to nudge it to that direction.
Yeah, let's see what happens if we move it over slightly so that it bounces off that other post right there, and just see what it does. If it'll.
Yeah.
So this is the type of iteration that I think is really helpful with this game. Like, if you were to take